Okay, you have a student in your class that maybe keeps tripping or falling, and you're wondering, does the student need an orientation and mobility evaluation? I'm going to walk you through the 3 questions to ask yourself to figure out if you need to start that process. Welcome back to my series, How to Teach a Student with a Visual Impairment, where I'm walking you through step by step exactly what to do when you get a blind or visually impaired student in your classroom. If you were to come to me and say, hey Cass, I have a student, they're demonstrating XYZ, do they need an evaluation? I would walk you through a few steps first. And if you're like, who are you to begin with? That's where we should start in this video. Hi, I'm Kassy Maloney. I'm an orientation and mobility specialist, as well as the founder here at the Society of Exceptional Educators. The entire goal of this series, of this channel, is to help you be able to increase your students' academic and daily living skills if they have a visual impairment specifically. So when you come to me as an orientation and mobility specialist, I'm going to have you look at 3 things. But first, we're going to review what is orientation and mobility to begin with. Orientation and mobility is helping your student understand where they are in space, that's orientation, and mobility, getting to where they want to go safely. So most students, if they have a visual impairment already, they probably have had an orientation and mobility evaluation. However, that's not the case in all states. Typically, what has to happen is the teacher of students with visual impairments has to come in and do their initial evaluation to see if that student qualifies as a student with a visual impairment, if they need services. Now, it depends on what state you're in. Sometimes orientation and mobility can be provided even if TVI services are not. Sometimes that's not the case. In some states, you have to have a TVI providing direct services in order for an orientation and mobility specialist to provide direct services. But we're not even really there yet. You don't even know if you need direct services. You just want to make sure that your kid is traveling safely. So I look at 3 things, and they all start with H. For 1, does that student need a lot of help? Are they getting lost? Is there something going on with their spatial awareness that tells you that they don't know where they are in space? A lot of my students might get lost just trying to get out of the bathroom if they have no vision. And that is a concern, right? You need someone to be able to teach them how to get out of the bathroom. So do they need a lot of help in order to navigate areas? The second being, do you notice hesitation? What you'll see if a student is having problems with their lower fields is they look down a lot while they're walking. They might shuffle their feet, or there might be situations where when they're going from a dark environment to a light environment or a light environment to a dark environment, that they stop and they slow down and they watch very carefully where they're going. This can happen under trees. Look for dappled lighting. Look for when they go into an area that has like a dark hallway or a closet. So see if you can ask them to go into a closet with the light off and see how they act. Do they hesitate more than your students with vision? Now, you going into that same closet because you've been in that closet 10 million times in a year, different story. They're not going to act the way that you do because they don't have the same mobility, motor memory. Motor memory is the word I'm looking for. Master's degree, forget words, it's okay. That's what I would look at there. Are they hesitating a lot? When they're walking, are they walking slow at some times? Do they hesitate to go off curbs? Do they hesitate when there's a different change in terrain? Are they trying to protect themselves in some way? In other videos, we've talked about how People move because they have the motivation to move. Now, motivation, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic, is going to serve the same purpose. And that purpose is there a reward and is there lack of punishment, as in getting hurt? So hesitation is a way to get that same reward and decrease the punishment. Now, for some of our kiddos, they just steamroll through all the things and then they're going to get hurt. So are you noticing that you're writing more incident reports? Are you noticing that they're falling off the curb, that they tripped down some steps, that they tried to go up the stairs on the playground, but because it wasn't the same width of tread as in the hallway, they missed it? Are you noticing that they're falling more, they're running into things? If that's the case, if they are needing a lot of help, if they are hesitating, or if they're getting hurt, yes, I would bring it to your team. First, I would bring it to your admin and get them on board. Have them maybe come look, because an orientation and mobility specialist in a lot of places can no longer just come look and say, yes, we want to do an evaluation, or no, we don't. If you get that part of the team involved, it might be, depending upon your state's laws, that you do an initial evaluation. Now, if the student does not have a TVI at all, that is the route that you're going to start with. You might be looking at opening the door for an initial evaluation for VI services in general. Now, that kind of stuff, you're also going to want to pair it with the academics, because we do need to make sure that we are consistently providing a fair and appropriate public education, and orientation and mobility and accessing your environment is one of those. I hope that answered your question. If it did, give this video a like, a subscribe, and come join us in the Society of Exceptional Educators. We have a lot of things going on at all times. We are really here to support you in becoming a better teacher, whether you are a classroom teacher, whether you're a TVI, you're an O&M, whether you're a related service staff member. Our entire goal is to help you so that way you can become better at your job and have a life outside of work. Because I truly think that if you keep burning the candle on both ends and watching these videos on a Saturday night instead of going out, or instead of doing something else that you like doing, you're going to burn out. And we need you in this field. So come on in. There's a link below. I'll see you inside the society.